Hello and welcome to the Wolfpacker Recruiting Show. My name's Ethan McDowell. I am your host, and you are watching the very first episode of the newest show on the Wolfpackers YouTube channel. If you're a returning viewer to the Wolfpacker Show, you're usually used to logging on here and seeing me and Noah Fleischman talk about all of the latest news and notes around Wolfpack athletics. But this is a new show. This is something we have been planning for a long time. Ever since we hosted a 2-hour live podcast on signing day, where we brought on a bunch of guests, did interviews, and it was a lot of fun, and it was really well received. So we've been planning for a little while here to bring it back because, man, when I tell you recruiting's about to get exciting, we're entering that stretch of the year where it's turned into the calendar has kind of shifted to the summer where NC State's going to assemble the bulk of its recruiting class in June. So to account for that, we're launching a whole new show. Noah and I will still be on here like semi-weekly in the off season to talk about whenever there's news around, football, basketball, baseball, anything really. But I'm going to be doing these shows, semi-regularly, just kind of, whatever there's a commitment or whenever we can get an interview booked. We're going to bring in recruits to talk, coaches. We're going to, try to give you guys a better understanding of who these Wolfpack commits are, how recruiting operates in the NIL and transfer portal age. It's all very complex. There's so much to dive into. I think we do a great job of it on the wolfpacker.com, but I wanted to bring it to you guys in a video format, something to kind of just share my take. And we're going to sit around here today. We're going to watch some film. We're going to talk about NC State's latest run of commits, and I think it's going to be really fun. I'm really excited about it. It's been something I've been waiting to do for a while here. So, like I said, I'm Ethan McDowell. I am the main football recruiting reporter on the Wolfpacker.com. That's NC State's site on the On3 network. So before we even get started here, go check out the Wolfpacker.com. I have it pulled up right here, as you can see. And it's packed with good stuff. It's been a recruiting-focused day. I mean, we have interviews with Jackson Keith and London Simmons, 2 priority pack recruits. And we have a big intel story with, intel updates on elite 4-star safety Jordan Young, priority 3-star offensive lineman Michael Gibbs. It's all there. Noah and I are constantly funneling info onto this site. So if you want the, paywalled latest breaking news scoops, it's all there. I encourage you to join right now. It's only $1 for your first month. So it costs almost nothing to try it out. And, take my word for it that it's worth the money here. But today, we're here to talk about commits. It's been a very, very busy week for NC State football recruiting. In the past 10 days, they've picked up 4 commits. First, it was 3-star safety Tristan Teasdale. He's a safety from Virginia, a high school recruit, class of 2025, who picked the pack over a bunch of Power 5 offers and ended up going with the pack after visiting just once. And we're going to talk about his recruitment, what he brings to NC State. I'm really excited about him as a player. I think he's a perfect fit for the NC State secondary. So we'll get into his recruitment in a minute here. But the main bulk of the show is going to be talking about transfer portal because NC State hosted 3 transfer portal visitors last week and picked up 3 commitments in the following days. Akron safety Kerry Martin Jr., a veteran defensive back who can play all over the defensive backfield. Colorado defensive lineman Chaz Wallace, a very much needed addition at nose tackle who's going to come in and compete. He's a quick defender. I really like what he's going to bring to the defense. I think he's going to be very disruptive, especially on passing downs. And then Ohio State safety by way of Syracuse, Jihad Carter. Another experienced defensive back who can play either safety spot or nickel. And I'm really excited about what he's going to bring to the pack. So we're going to break all those commits down in reverse chronological order of when they committed, all right? So first, we're going to start with Carter, and we're going to break down for each of these guys. We're going to break down 3 questions, right? We're going to ask, how did they end up at State? Why are they a good fit for the Wolfpack? And then we're going to take a shot, throw a dart at the board and projecting what their role will be for the 2024 season. All right. So like I said, let's start with Jihad Carter. First, I'm going to go ahead and get his tape pulled up here. This is a game from Syracuse. This is when he was playing for the Orange, and one of his best games was against Clemson, actually. I don't know if any of y'all remember this game from a couple of years ago, but Syracuse was undefeated, ranked 14th in the country. They went down to Clemson and gave an undefeated Clemson team a really good game. So we're gonna go ahead and press play, and this will just be playing in the background as I'm talking here. But he's number one, so keep an eye out for number one in all of these highlight clips. But yeah, Jahad Carter, like I said, started his career at Syracuse and transferred to Ohio State for a year. In 2022, when he was with the Orange, he was an All-ACC honorable mention player, made 10 starts, recorded 36 tackles, 3 interceptions, which led the team, and played 264 snaps as a slot cornerback, but also recorded 100 snaps in the box, over 100 snaps at free safety, and played on special teams too. So he was a little bit of like a do-it-all defensive back for Syracuse, right? And before that, he had a couple really productive years at Syracuse. He was a freshman All-American where he recorded 65 total tackles and 2 interceptions as a true freshman. And then as a sophomore, he missed a little bit of time due to injury, but also made 35 total tackles in his second season. So after that all-conference season in 2022, he did transfer to Ohio State, and he was one of the most sought-after defensive backs in the portal, as of course you are. He ended up at Ohio State for a reason. He was a very, very good player at Syracuse. Went to Ohio State, and things didn't necessarily work out for him there. He had an injury in spring practice in 2023, and then got hurt also during the season and missed some time there as well. And just things never really came together for him. He played in a handful of games and recorded 5 total tackles. So he entered the portal again, and NC State was the main school on him. I kind of dove into like how his recruitment unfolded on the Wolfpacker.com, so you can go check it out there. But he visited last week and committed to the Pack late Friday night. So let's talk about fit. What you can see on the film right here is when you're watching, he lines up everywhere. Also, this turnover play is like, wow, look at the speed here. Impressive breakaway speed on the fumble recovery, turned touchdown. Very impressive recognition by him to make the scoop and score happen here. But you'll notice on these plays, he lines up all over the field. I don't think there's any position in NC State secondary that he won't be able to fill. So I see him definitely being as someone who can play both safety spots or nickel. He embraces contact. I wouldn't say he's like like the Sean Brown style of like real impact hitter. Like he's not like delivering these like bone crushing hits, but he's reliable. You don't see him miss that many tackles, and that's important, right? I think that's something that we saw in the beginning of last season, where there was all these explosive plays happening for the defense because there would be a missed tackle in the secondary that was keeping or it was enabling a 10-yard rush to turn into a 50-yard rush. I think having Carter in the secondary, someone who's going to reliably make that tackle, decrease explosive plays, and just provide that reliable veteran experience to the secondary. I'm really excited about what he brings to that. And, in NC State, they already had Kerry Martin and Donovan Kaufman, 2 safeties committed in the transfer portal class. But, I think if you have an opportunity to bring someone like Jahad Carter in, you can't pass it up. I mean, he's just a really good player with 2 years or 3 years of proven production at the ACC level. So very optimistic about what he's going to bring to the Pack. I wanted to pull up a couple specific clips here. First one here is going to be an interception. So watch him right here. So he's going to drop back in coverage and then kind of an airmailed pass, and he jumps on it immediately. They're going to show an instant replay here. But just look at the play recognition and how he breaks on this route, gets in position, and makes a really impressive catch. Like, look, check that out. Comes down with the ball, 2 feet down. That's an interception on Sundays as well. I just really like this play. I thought it was great play recognition by Jahad here. And, that's a situation where he was lined up in the slot. And I think a lot of the plays from this little highlight reel that we're playing is plays he's making from, a slot corner or, I'm not really sure how Syracuse's defense works, but having like a nickel in there, I think that's exactly what he can do at NC State. We've been talking about what his role could be. I mean, shoot, I think he could be someone who comes in and competes from day one at nickel. I think, in terms of his size, like he's 6'1", 203. So it's not like he's a skinny, thin defensive back there. No, he's able to hold up and run support. I think he does a good job in this clip and the one before it, actually. I will even rewind. I think he does a good job of block shedding as well. So I think it's going to be very helpful in run support, like I said, limiting explosive plays and making things happen for the Pack. I really like his potential, and I really like the experience he's going to bring to NC State secondary. So as far as, his projected role for this fall, I know it didn't work out at Ohio State, but I think he is a very good player who's going to make an instant impact with the Wolfpack. All right, so he was the most recent transfer portal commit, and the one before him was Chaz Wallace, a defensive lineman from Colorado by way of Old Dominion, 6'2", 295-pound defensive lineman who is going to play nose tackle for the Pack. He was a former 3-star recruit coming out of Maryland. NC State's defensive line coach Charlie Wiles actually recruited him when he was at Virginia Tech, I believe, at that point. And Chaz was coming out of high school. Chaz ends up at Old Dominion and was playing in a rotational role for a couple of years there. And he ended up transferring to Colorado for last season, where he had an off-season surgery at Old Dominion that lingered into his first year at Colorado. So he starts the season at playing with the fourth strings. And I mean, he didn't. What impressed me when I talked to him is he didn't let that bother him at all. Like, he just put his head down and he just went to work, man. And it was really impressive. He worked his way up into the depth chart from fall camp. He started with the 4s. By the end of the season, he was starting. He started the last 4 games of the season. Finished the season with 11 total tackles and 1.5 sacks. So that's solid production once his snaps ramped up. Most of those tackles and sacks happened during that final stretch of the season when he was playing more, as you'd expect. So he has 1 season remaining. I don't know if I mentioned it for Carter as well. He also has 1 season left. But his first 2 seasons of college football, he had 47 total tackles and 2.5 sacks. And in terms of his fit with the Wolfpack, I mean, I think it was pretty clear. If you've been following how this roster has been coming together over the past 6 months, NC State needed a backup nose tackle. I mean, you lose C.J. Clark to the transfer portal, your returning starter. He's at Miami now. Nick Campbell hits the portal. He goes to App State. So you're in a situation where you really needed to add another scholarship defensive tackle to the roster. And, they recruited a few different players, but Chaz was the first one to visit. And I really like how his skill set could translate to the Pack. Let's look at this first clip here, because I think it illustrates what I'm talking about pretty well, because he is super, super quick. You see how he gets off his block and then comes around the edge, boom, big hit, sack. I really like that play. I think he is a very impressive pass rusher. I think he's very disruptive coming through the middle of the defense. He played in a 3-man front at times with Colorado, so he has a little experience playing that nose tackle. I think for NC State, he is someone where they see him, sliding outside and potentially playing a little bit of defensive tackle, but it's mostly going to be right in the middle, nose tackle, where he can take on these double teams, penetrate, cause some disruption in the middle of that defense. And that's what he does all the time on tape. I mean, he posted a lot of clips, and some of these are practice clips, which we'll watch. But I really like how he is able to disrupt through the middle. I think it's just a reliable pass rushing presence. And you have to look at it where he didn't play that many snaps when he was at Old Dominion or Colorado. And as a defensive tackle, he still piled up, good sack numbers. So in limited playing time, he's still able to make an impact on the field. And in his last season of college football, I could tell just talking to him, he's a motivated guy. I think he's going to come in. I think he'll be a leader in that defensive line room as well, which already has, some very strong, voices and personalities. Davin Van, he's going to be a captain this year wearing that number 1 jersey. And I think Chaz is going to come in there, just add to the leadership, add to the maturity of that room. And, add some excitement to that group, because I think you have to feel really good about that unit going into next year now that you have a reliable backup. So he comes in, he'll be there to provide reliable pass rushing presence. But I think it's just a really good fit for NC State. I just scrolling through these, reliable tackler. He sheds his blocks and he's quick, and he never gives up on a play, which is another thing that I really, really liked. Going through his tape and watching some of his highlights is if there's a play where I don't know, it's like there's a few clips where he's recognizing like a screen pass, right? And he sees the screen pass and he's on like the backside of the play, but he sprints over there and makes a tackle. That's something that, I think the most common NC State word for that Coach Dorn will use a lot in press conferences is strain, right? All the times it's strain. Chaz shows a ton of strain all the time. So I think at this stage of the cycle, getting him is pretty close to the best case scenario for someone who is going to come in, and I think he'll compete with Brandon Cleveland for that starting role. And at the very minimum, he will provide really, really valuable backup snaps and be a very, very useful player for the Pack this fall right away. So excited to see what he's going to do this year. And so that we kind of addressed everything there in terms of role. Like he'll come in, he's gonna play, I think. So again, impressive get for NC State out of the portal there. All these guys are 3-star transfer portal additions, by the way, for by On3's transfer portal rankings. On3 or NC State's transfer portal class is now the number 7 class in the country. So they're just continuing to build upon a really impressive class and bring in some really impressive players. All right. We're going to talk about Kerry Martin Jr. and then Tristan Teasdale in a second. But before we do so, I want to say a quick thank you to our sponsor, Game Time. Game Time is a ticket buying and selling marketplace. Whether you're looking for, tickets to see Chaz and Kerry and Jihad play in Carter Finley Stadium next season, whether you're looking for, Durham Bulls tickets. Noah and I actually went to a Durham Bulls game last week. It was a great time. You can find tickets for it on the Game Time app. On any app store or on your web browser at gametime.co. That's not .com, by the way. That's .co. So go check it out there. If you're looking for, let's say, for example, the Hurricanes game tomorrow, pivotal game 6, potential game to force a game 7 for the Hurricanes, well, you can find that on the Game Time app. I'll hold it up for those watching on YouTube. If you look right here, you can see the exact view from where you'd be sitting in the arena. That's my favorite part about the app. It takes a step out of the ticket buying process. I know exactly the view I'd be, watching from in my seat. So that's why I'm a big fan of it. That's why I use it. Right now, it's an in-demand ticket, but right now the cheapest is $156. I think they've actually marked that down though from $182. So there's a deal right there. And to make the deal even better, if you go on there and for the first time and use code Wolfpack, that's all caps Wolfpack, you'll get $20 off your first purchase. So that makes the deal even better. Go check it out. I use it all the time. I'm a big fan of it. It's the Game Time app on any app store or gametime.co on your web browser. All right, folks, let's talk about Kerry Martin Jr. Here, we've got a bunch of highlights from him here, so we'll go ahead and roll those. But Kerry Martin Jr., 6'1", 195-pound safety from Akron. He is a veteran defensive back. He started his college career in 2019. Actually, Tony Gibson, who was at West Virginia at the time, recruited Carey to West Virginia when he was still working there, and Carey thought it was a great fit. Joined the Wolfpack and or not joined the Wolfpack, joined the Mountaineers, and then just a couple of weeks later, Tony Gibson left for Raleigh. So this is something that Carey has described as a full circle moment. This is a chance for them to team back up for Coach Gibson. This is someone who he's like, hey, this is someone who I thought was a perfect fit in our defense at West Virginia. And now he clearly believes that he'd be a good fit for the Wolfpack defense. Now you might be asking, Ethan, he started at West Virginia. How did he end up at Akron? I'll give you the rundown. So he was really, really good as a true freshman. Very, very good at West Virginia. He was a PFF freshman All-American with 50 total tackles. Just an instant impact player for the Mountaineers. Then he sat out the 2020 COVID shortened season, and then transferred just a few, couple months into the 2021 season. So those 2 seasons, COVID obviously doesn't count for your eligibility. 2021, he redshirts. After that, he hits the portal. He goes to Akron. Again, immediate impact player. Records a career high 53 total tackles and an interception in his first season with the Zips. And then the next year, 45 total tackles, 2 interceptions, and he made the All-MAC third team. So 2 years of proven production in the MAC, 1 year of proven production in the Big 12. Experienced defensive back. I think he is a really, really good coverage safety. I really like what he shows in coverage. If you look over at the highlights right now, he's actually, that was a pass breakup on former NC State quarterback Devin Leary. I really like what he shows in coverage. I think he has good speed. He when he does get beat on a route, he has good closing speed. So he closes the gap between him and the receiver really fast. Does a good job, getting his head around, getting a hand up, and creating, pass breakups. And something like I use a word to describe safeties like him is opportunistic. Like when there's a chance to make a turnover, he's usually there. Like he's usually just in the right spot at the right time. It's a word I've used to describe Devin Boykin a lot. And I think the common thread there is usually if you're an opportunistic safety, it means you're a really smart safety. It means you know where to be. You're a step ahead of the offense. You have a good command of the defense. You know where you need to be at all times. And I think he shows time and time again on his tape that he is one of those players. Like I said earlier in the show, he's versatile. I think he could play either spot. I think he put up the best numbers or in like best PFF metrics. And I thought his highlights were the best when he was playing. It's sort of like that deep safety. I just really like how he reads plays. I like his play recognition, like this interception right here. Like, let's take another look at that. Like the, right here. Like watch him right here at the top of the screen and comes down, boop. All right, great play, turnover, going the other way. I really like this play. I thought, and if you've been watching the highlights, it's all throughout his tape. I just think he would be a really, really good like deep safety, and I think he's going to be someone who comes in and provides instant competition. I could see a battle between him and Bishop Fitzgerald really developing for one of those safety spots. I think those are 2 talented, athletic, fast, good coverage defensive backs who NC State's secondary between, adding Donovan Kaufman, who we haven't really talked about much on today's show because he was a commitment earlier this season, but he moved to NC State this week, the former Auburn defensive back. So bring him in, and then Jihad and Carey, who are expected to move to Raleigh this week. And so you're going to have a whole summer with an extremely deep secondary. And I think Carey's going to be a very, very critical part of that for sure. I just really, really like what he's going to bring to the pack. I wanted to pull up, this, not this play, which that was a good pass breakup too, but this interception, it's another one where look, he's playing that, deep safety and just reads it like right off the bat. He knows that that's where he needs to be and makes the great over the shoulder catch there. Just great play recognition. I really like what we've seen out of him on just from the highlights that I've watched. Great ball skills, great recognition, and tackling wise, I mean he's again reliable. He definitely embraces contact. He plays with that physical edge that I think you need to if you're going to play in NC State's defense with the standard they hold. You can't have a soft defensive back playing in Raleigh right now. So, and I think he is far from that. So it's going to be exciting to kind of watch how he fits into the defense here. Again, like I said, role-wise this fall, he has 1 year of eligibility left, and I think he's going to come in and compete for instant playing time. If you know, say Bishop Fitzgerald and Donovan Kaufman beat him out for those starting safety spots, or Zach Myers carves out a starting spot as well, then you're looking at, all right, Kerry Martin is one of the best backup safeties in the ACC. I think I posted on Twitter yesterday. I posted it on our message board. I think now, thanks to Kerry, thanks to Jihad, thanks to Donovan, NC State has one of the deepest secondaries in the ACC. There are so many guys where if, of course you hope to heck it doesn't happen, but if there is an injury, I think you're going to be comfortable bringing in, 4, 5 safeties even this season. And I'm really excited to see how it all works out this fall. But yeah, they're all going to be on campus soon, guys. So they're all 3 of the past week's transfers. They will be on campus very soon, and they're going to be able to compete, make an instant impact. They're going to get to know Coach Thunder real well this offseason. So they're going to get in the summer training regimen and develop into what I'm sure the Pack hopes will be instant contributors. All right, so that wraps up the transfer portal segment of this, but I did want to talk about Tristan Teasdale, the most recent high school commit for the Pack. So he committed about 10 days ago, I believe. And I'll tell you what, we're going to watch his highlights here. It doesn't take long to see why he was such a highly touted prospect for the Pack. He picked the Pack over, Pittsburgh, Duke, schools like that. And watch this. Boom. Like just, no, we got to replay that one. Like the way he instantly recognizes this. He plays a lot in the slot. They even blitz him off the edge a lot in this highlight tape is what you'll see. But truly a physical safety, like Tanner Ingle-esque hits here. And he's a big recruit, a rising senior. He's 6'1", 180. So, he has the frame to be able to put on more weight. And I really like what he shows as a blitzer, as a tackler. He told me that he almost like loves supporting the run, going up and meeting a running back in the hole or blitzing. I think he actually enjoys that more than coverage. So he's someone who is just a walking playmaker. Like every time you see him on the field, he's doing something awesome. On3 gave him like an 87 rating, which is like a mid 3-star. I think he has the potential to raise that rating a little bit. And I think he's someone who could be a nickel for the Wolfpack. I think he could play safety, but he's someone where you look at him and his recognition is awesome. That's, I know it's something we had just talked about with Kerry Martin, but it pops with Tristan as well, because I don't know if you see high school safeties, diagnosing plays as quickly as he often does. I know it's a highlight reel, so you have to take that into account, but you don't really see him like overrunning plays much. That's easy to do when you're a high-level high school player and you're just a little more athletic than most people on the field. But no, he plays contained. He keeps all of that power contained. So when the moment's there, boom, he strikes, delivers an awesome hit, comes up with a turnover. Just a really good player. He's someone that NC State prioritized this spring. He picked up an offer. I believe it was in March or some point early in the year. He visited for the spring game and loved it. It's a testament to NC State staff is they just do a really good job of making recruits feel like a clear priority, even when the offer was recent, and they did with Tristan. So when it coming down into official visit season, he was like, I don't feel like I need to wait. I'm ready to make the call and become a Wolfpacker. So he committed to NC State. He'll be on campus June 7th through 9th. And I'll tell you what, he's already doing some active recruiting. So it'll be good to have him on campus that 7th through the 9th weekend. That's a big weekend for defensive prospects in Raleigh. So yeah, really excited about what he's going to bring to the pack. I think he is a headliner member of that secondary for this class. And NC State's recruiting a lot of good safeties. Jordan Young, Jonte Gilbert, all sorts of guys. Malachi Wright, like a ton of really really productive players who you start with Tristan and you build on that, and it could be a special class. It could be a big class and a special one. So looking forward to seeing what Tristan does in Raleigh. I believe he plans on enrolling early, so he'll be on campus in December. All right, folks. Well, that is all for today's show. I really appreciate you all listening and watching to the first edition of the Wolfpacker Recruiting Show. We're going to be back pretty soon, I think. It's going to be a busy month. It's going to be a busy couple of months. I'm going to try to put together some like interview shows so we can bring on some of these recruits, and you don't have to just listen to me talk for half an hour. You can hear from them instead and get some impact, get some insight onto how they're feeling about NC State. So we'll be back soon. Please, like I said, this is a brand new show. I'm open to any feedback. I want to hear what y'all would like to see out of this show. It's something I've been wanting to do for a really long time. So I'm excited about it. I want to make it something cool, make it something y'all are excited to watch every week. So please let me know what I need to do to make that happen, and we'll make it work. Another part of this is something we can do is kind of like implement like a mailbag segment at the end. I know that's something that we can build out as time. But if you ever have questions about NC State recruiting, go on the Wolfpacker.com's message board. Just post it in a thread, direct message it to me. Just let me know what you're wondering about Wolfpack recruiting, because like I said, with the NIL age, the transfer portal age, it is a twist. There's twists and turns every day with this. So it's a fun time to be covering recruiting. I wake up every morning excited to share the latest twists and turns with all of you. And it's going to be fun doing that on this YouTube channel, on the Wolfpacker.com all summer into the fall, and of course through signing day. So, all right. Thanks again, folks. I'm Ethan McDowell. I will see you next week. And thanks for watching.